Should we do watch this jerks?
Sure. I watched a movie.
I want to hear about this.
I watched, and I honestly, I think I just watched.
Speaking of Atlantis.
Yeah, speaking of Atlantis, I watched Aquaman 2. I know it has another name, like Aquaman: The Search for Spock or whatever they call it.
Nobody knows what the name of Aquaman 2 is.
Yeah, it's just Aquaman 2. Oh man, that movie's bad. Like I want to say, like it's not bad. There's some redeeming qualities. Actually, no, there is one redeeming quality. Is they do a really good job with Black Manta's costume in this. Because they give him the Silver Age costume, and it actually looks pretty cool.
It's different than than his costume in the first one?
It's different than his costume in the first one. Outside of that one little thing, the rest of the movie is a gigantic pile of trash.
Is it at least 3 hours long, though?
It is 2 hours and 5 minutes long.
Okay.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I watched. I think I watched it because I had nothing. I was alone. That was the reason why.
Now, is this the conclusion to the DC universe?
Officially the last release for the DC extended universe. There is no more.
Sorry, I forgot what they called
the DCEU
extended universe. What were they extending it from again?
Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in the DC universe.
I know,
already.
But there's Superman, and then there's everything else. Oh, no, Batman.
Everything else.
I forgot about Batman.
And Batman, Wonder Woman, the Trinity. But yeah, it's bad. Not only is it bad, like the acting is bad in it too. Like everyone sounds stilted, and it's like Jason Momoa. It sounds like he's literally asleep the entire movie.
You sure it's not because he's underwater?
No.
Oh.
They're not underwater that much either.
Okay.
I was asleep for about half the first movie.
And the special effects, there's so much CGI in this movie, and they're so like medium that my son walked out at one point and saw that I was watching it, and he goes, "Ooh, what game are you playing?"
Oh no.
Oh no.
That is an actual quote.
Yeah.
What game is this? And I said, it's not a game. It's Aquaman 2. You want to watch it with me? And he said, no, and walked away.
Yeah. I also said no when I saw it on HBO. I said,
yep, that's my review of Aquaman 2. My son said no when I asked him to watch it with me.
Maybe on a plane. It
just feels like a movie that they like had started making, and I don't know. It's weird because like, it's Warner Brothers, so you would think they would have just like said like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Deleted it to save some money, but no, they didn't. They released this one. I don't know why. You're right. They could have never released this movie, and the world would be in no way different than it is right now.
Makes sense. Meanwhile, that's a different company that made the Acme something versus
Acme. Same company.
Right. Yeah. So
they deleted that one, and that one was supposed to be pretty good.
Right.
But that's deleted. Like it's not even like you'll be able to see it. They for tax reasons they have to like wipe it away as if it never existed.
The system is broken, man.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? And watch this, jerks.
The new season of Somebody Feed Phil started on Netflix, and that is quite excellent. Are you familiar with the show? I've talked about it before.
You are. That's how I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. So Phil Rosenthal, the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, is now a middle-aged, actually older than middle-aged man, but he travels the world and he eats the fanciest foods and crazy foods and does all sorts of crap. And it's the new season started, and it's really good. He goes to Kyoto in this season.
It's in Kyoto. There's no E in it.
Whatever.
KYO. Where do you get
KY? Yes.
Everybody
Kyoto.
always says Kyoto, but when you see KYO, where does the E come from? There's no E in there.
It comes from my butt.
Your butt makes an E sound?
My butt makes an E sound.
I want to hear it. Let's hear that.
I'd have to stand up.
Do it. Let's see it. Shake it.
Kyoto, but he does. He goes there, and the food there looked very good.
Yum.
He eats one of the chefs in the restaurant he eats is Scandinavian.
Eating chefs now?
They are very lean. They're known for their lean meat.
Yeah, he eats at a restaurant of a Scandinavian that does Japanese cooking, and it was like rated the best food in the world, and it's crazy. Interesting stuff.
I just read in the newspaper that in I guess Nara, Gion, where the geisha girls are, the tourists, the foreign tourists, are so annoying now that they have to rope off those sections where those girls are walking around because people in their phones, they're trying to do like fucking skits and shit, right? Like they're annoying. They're trying to like, you know, everyone's trying to get their fucking numbers up, right? And by being annoying for the most part.
It's funny
So-
because Phil and his wife did go to one of the like the
district,
geisha,
yeah.
the geisha tea thing,
Uh-huh.
like a tea service,
Right.
And they went through and they had a guide with them to instruct them on how to do everything with the proper etiquette and
Don't grab the girls and film it.
Don't grab this. But even like there's a special way to hold the teacup, and you have to turn it a certain way before you drink out of it. And if you drink out of it with the handle on the wrong side of the cup, it's offensive to the server, and it's like a whole thing. So I learned
As long as the
something.
credit card goes through, they're pretty happy.
I'm just saying I learned what
That's
the
good.
proper etiquette is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always make sure that the teacup is facing out towards the server.
The handle.
Do you not do
Well,
that
not
with like
the
your
handle.
coffee mug so that everybody can see like the graphics?
Like they'll hand you the mug, and that's the front of the mug. So
Got
when
it.
they hand it to you, you need to turn the mug around so the front of the mug is facing them. The
So they can
teacup,
see it.
I guess.
Nice
I don't know.
picture.
I don't. I didn't make the rules, by the way. They're
Right.
Oh,
you know.
okay.
Yeah,
You're
they're
just
a few
learning the
thousand-
rules.
Yeah, I don't make these rules. But
Um,
speaking of etiquette in the past, what have you been watching?
We've been watching, I don't know if it's about etiquette in the past, but it's about Japan in the past.
I'm trying my best here.
Shogun came out on Hulu, and it's a series about, I guess, Japan and the shogunate era, and they have like foreigners coming. So that's sort of like the plot. It's pretty good, but it's like the CG is very distracting. Like all the backgrounds are CG, and they're trying to make it like really grand looking, where it looks distracting, like a video game. Elliot would walk in, and I'd be watching this movie, and he'd be like, "Oh, this looks like a cool game." Like, no, this is a TV show. That and the fact that they leave breaks for commercials, even though when you know, because it's Hulu, is also annoying. Takes away like sort of the epicness from it. But you know, the story is good, and I don't know. So far, so good. We watched like 4 episodes. We're up to date. We've watched all the available episodes. So far, so good. And also, I finished The Curse, the first season of that. Wombat, you should watch it so we can talk about the finale.
It's never gonna happen.
Oh, right. We talked about that. Shipwreck,
Yep.
you're not going to
No,
watch it. Fuck
I'm
it.
not gonna watch
You're going to
Hey.
watch Shogun?
You
No.
got me to go to Orange Theory. That's
Right,
bad.
I should
You-
just
I'm not
give
gonna watch
up.
it either.
You cast in your chips, dude.
Right.
I
That was
just
the
got,
big
like-
win.
I got like this might be one of the weirdest like news alerts that I just got on my Apple Watch.
Okay.
So the Iditarod, right? The race is going on right now.
Mm-hmm. But the dogs.
Did you see that one of the racers like killed a moose because it was like attacking his dogs?
No.
Well, that happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then right the alert that just came out right now is that the Iditarod officials have now imposed a 2-hour time penalty on that racer for not properly gutting the moose that he killed.
Wait, you have to stop and gut the moose?
I don't like Wombat. I do not make up the rules of the Iditarod, but apparently one of the rules of the Iditarod is if you kill a moose and do not gut it properly,
Oh, Iditarod. Okay. I'm thinking like biathlon.
that is a 2-hour penalty for
Okay.
you.
Well, now we learned that too. We're learning so much.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you told me that because I was going to compete next year,
Mhm.
and I wasn't aware of that rule. I should talk to my coach about that.
But you know what's really weird though?
Hmm.
Is that if you're doing an Iditarod, which is like, who does that, right? Like what percent of the world is doing that? Don't you think you would look at the rules first and be like, just in case, and you would know that? Like, how do you participate in that event and then not know that rule? That seems like pretty important.
Is
I mean,
it,
I don't
though?
know how often that comes up in the Iditarod.
Yeah,
But it's a 2-hour penalty. You'd want to avoid the big penalties. You think you would know all the big penalties. You know, what are the other penalties? If you take a shit, you have to dig a hole deep enough or something. You can lose time. I don't know.
I don't think it matters in the snow.
Well, I don't know. I just had dinner. I don't want
Yeah.
Talk about shit in the snow. Well, that's good to know. I'll
Yeah, just for your knowledge, I think that is good. We did finish up. We're through all of the MCU movies that my kids can watch now. So we watched Quantumania,
Oh,
the
okay.
Ant-Man
Did
3.
you already watch
Yeah,
the
Ant-Man
Marvels
3.
as a family, right? You
We
watched
watched
that?
Yeah, we watched that one in the theater.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So Aquaman, or not Aquaman, I'm looking at the Ant-Man
Ant-Man.
3 really sets up the
The
storyline for Kang.
Absolutely nothing. Yep.
I haven't seen it. I feel like I don't need to see it.
It's
It
okay.
exists.
It's for a popcorn film that you can watch with your family. It's one of those Marvel movies.
It's
right?
better than Thor 4. It's better than Thor 4. It's
There's no
not as good
cancer
as
in
the
it?
Marvels. No cancer.
No.
No cancer. It has some weird plot hole logic jumps that I don't like. There's a lot with Ant-Man that it's not the right movie, to put it bluntly. It's not the movie
Sure,
for
it was
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man should not have had to be like ushering in and carrying in the heavy weight of like, here's the new Marvel villain.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't he doesn't fit. It doesn't work. Ant-Man's supposed to be Ant-Man 1 and 2 work because they're smaller movies, they're funnier
Sure.
movies. He has his group of guys, they're the funny guys.
Yeah, they're not even in this movie.
Then they're not in it.
They're not even in the movie.
And you take them out of the movie and it's a bad movie. I mean, and it's
not bad. It's just like the part of the problem is all of the Marvel movies, the majority of the Marvel movies in that whatever phase we're in, they all tried to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like every one of them tried to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
When only Guardians of the Galaxy is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Yep.
Like
even
like
DCU.
Doctor Strange, that one was different. That was different than the other ones. It was unique in that way. But all the rest of them were like, oh, we're gonna really ham it up for all of these movies now. And they don't.
It also worked for Thor Ragnarok. It's like that sort of
correct.
Yeah. Oh, look, we're gonna be broad, and it's like it worked. It works in a very limited.
Yeah, because it's hard to write. It's hard to write a movie nonstop full of jokes. It's just really fucking hard to do that. Like,
well, and at the same time, they're trying to like actually hit on like making you care about the characters, right?
Yeah.
And like building to something. And like
when Ant-Man should have had a B plot of Luis in the real world, going to meet Scott at Mr. Pym's house, Dr. Pym's house, and finding it like, oh, something happened here. Don't worry, Scotty. I'll get you out of there. I'll get you out of there, Scotty. And he's like tinkering around. He has T.I. and the other David Dastmalchian show up, and they're like, fixing stuff. And like the end of the movie should have been like the portal opens because at the same time as they figure it out, Luis figures it out and he's on the other side. Like that could have been a funny little like B plot subline, but like also to kind of cut the CGI heavy microverse nonsense. I
don't mind that so much. It's just
it's too much. It's like it's too much.
Hard. It's like, what was that? Strange World? Is that the name of that other movie? The other Disney movie that was?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. Strange. Yes.
It's kind of that same thing of like, after a while, your eyeballs are just like, can you show me something that I recognize?
Yeah.
Like, I need something to like give me some kind of
a B plot with Luis in the real world, building a machine to get Scott out. I mean, that pretty much just writes itself, and it doesn't have to be half the movie. I'm talking like you cut away to like 10 minutes of that, and you cut 10 minutes of fat out of the quantum verse, and you instantly have a better movie.
I should have asked you. Where were you?
They should have asked
the
me.
MCU. We could fix
I could have fixed every single one of those movies 100%, and I stand by that.
I believe it.
I know.
Some hyper kind in there.
Captain Sword Hands, my favorite Clive Barker character.